Hey guys, Jason here from Casual Panic, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Elden Ring. Finally, we have actual gameplay of Elden Ring, this mysterious game that From Software has been working on for the past 4 years. The gameplay at E3 looked so good and left me with a bunch of hype, and I just really want to talk to you guys about things that I feel could make the game even better. In this video, I plan to look back on the Dark Souls games, the Sekiro, Bloodborne, and just general things that I think From Software could add to Elden Ring or work on to make the game as great as it's been hyped up to be. That being said, let's jump into it and let's talk about the things I want to see in Elden Ring. To start this off, I'd like to talk about the Dark Souls leveling system. Now, I love the Dark Souls leveling system. I think that it is a great system that allows good versatility in how you develop your character. And I think that if you're very strategic about it, you can make a character that's very good for the role that you're trying to play. If you're trying to make a knight build, you can dial down on skills that will make your knight very powerful. If you're trying to do a mage build, you can do that. But the game also offers you an opportunity to be a battle mage or a magic rogue or some type of paladin type class. The one thing that's always gotten me about Dark Souls, though, is how unforgiving this system can be. And I know that the game is supposed to be tough, and I'm not saying I want to make it necessarily easier, but maybe just a little bit more fair. And what I mean by that is there comes a point in Dark Souls where you get to an area or a boss that your particular build just cannot compete with. And listen, I get it because, I'm fine with the difficulty, but I find it odd at times that you have to essentially make a mishmash of equipment to try and take on certain bosses. What I'm saying with this first point is I would hope that they can be a bit more forgiving in the sense that if you want to re-roll specs and try a different build rather than have to create a whole new character, I think that could be pretty cool and keep the game more interesting. And if I recall, Dark Souls 3 also had a way to reset your skill points and respec essentially, but it was kind of a pain in the ass, and it involves joining a certain covenant, acquiring certain items. I just hope that in this iteration, From Software makes it a little bit more seamless. And if they want to make it more difficult, like if you need to pay a certain amount of souls or whatever currency they're going to use in Elden Ring to respec, that's fine, but just something that makes it so that you don't have to necessarily start from scratch in order to continue playing this character. Sometimes there are those bosses that you really want to go back. Maybe you want to practice on them a bit more. Maybe you want to try different fighting styles on them, different play styles. And for that, I would hope that in Elden Ring, there's some form of boss replayability. I look back on really old games, even like Majora's Mask, there was the ability to go back to those dungeons and replay those boss fights just for the hell of it. And that'd be really cool for them to add to Elden Ring. That was something that was lacking in Dark Souls. And actually, Bloodborne had the Chalice dungeons, which added sort of that replayability to some of these bosses, and the ability to warm up and challenge yourself against multiple different types of bosses throughout the game. But overall, some form of boss replayability thing and some sort of Chalice dungeon-esque thing from Bloodborne would be interesting to add to Elden Ring. The next point I'm going to talk about is the mounted combat that we're seeing in a lot of the E3 trailers. It really looks like they are having a large focus into mounted combat based on the gameplay that they revealed at E3. Now, mounted combat is always a tough one for games to nail down, right? Most of the time, it's very janky, and more often than not, it's more trouble than it's actually worth. From Software has always, in my opinion, had some pretty tight gameplay. And, I hope with Elden Ring, the mounted combat is actually good. I think games like Breath of the Wild and Ghost of Tsushima actually had pretty decent and responsive mounted combat. It's always that awkward moment in mounted combat where you run at a guy, you slash at him, you miss or whatever, and then your horse does this weird thing where it slows down and you start to lose a little bit control of it, and then enemies are just hitting you with arrows and rocks, and you're just like, okay, this is just awkward now. This is not as cool as I thought it was going to be. But like I said, it seems like they're highlighting it a lot in the gameplay trailers that they're showing. So here's hoping that From Software did a little bit of homework on this. And this last point is sort of a wild card. It would be really cool for them to add legit stealth combat, and we kind of saw that a little bit in the gameplay trailer, although it didn't really offer much in terms of information as to how it would work. But From Software have definitely showed that they have the chops for stealth mechanics with Sekiro, and I feel like they could easily adapt this system to Elden Ring and let you relive that Skyrim playthrough as a stealth archer. Seriously though, the glory of Dark Souls has always been playing pretty much however you wanted within the boundaries of the game itself. You know, adding a light stealth build with actual stealth mechanics would, in my opinion, add more variety to your character builds and add more variety to how you take on certain situations in the game. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. I'm really looking forward to Elden Ring. I think the content that they showed off in those gameplay trailers looks really good, and I'm just hoping that these little things that I recommend in this video make their way into the final game so that they're just that much better. If you guys have any suggestions for what you want added to Elden Ring, let me know in the comments. And if you aren't subscribed yet to Casual Panic, please consider subscribing and leaving a like on the video. It really goes a long way for us. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning into Casual Panic. I've been Jason. You've been awesome. I'll see you in the next one.